What's going on, everybody? Yep, today we're going to be looking at Tiffin's Lowell TOTA LED XL. This is a floodlight, daylight balanced. I've had this unit for about 2 weeks, and I had the opportunity to take it with me to a few different places just to kind of like test it out and see how versatile it is. And I was pretty impressed. So I selected a few shots. I'm going to break them down for you just so you can see the before and afters and understand the power of this light and how versatile it is. The first thing we're going to be looking at, it's an interview setup. This is done at a living room, and I'll break it down just so you understand how I use the TOTA LED XL. So the first step was balancing the light, because as you know, this is a daylight balance light. So I had to change the white balance just so it looked a little bit warmer, closer to the lights that were already in the house, the practicals. So at first we have the TOTA LED XL as the key light for our subject. I used a diffusion paper that I attached with the jug clips that the barn doors include. Those are included in the package, which is really nice because it creates a really nice fall off on the subject. The second light that we're going to be using, it's another Tiffin product. It's called Lowell Blender XL. When I use this light, I mostly use it as edge light or hair light. And in this case, it really helps because it helps us separate the subject from the background. And on top of that, since the light has a little bit of a spill, it also helps ambient the scene a little bit, which is not something that always works, but in this case, I think it works. So third, on location, we had this fixture right here. So I added an extra light inside of it to help it motivate the edge light, because one of the biggest things when it comes to lighting, it's making sure that it looks realistic and light's just not coming out of anywhere. So in order to motivate the edge light, I placed a little bit of a light inside of here. Then, in efforts to make the background more interesting, I turned on the lights in the kitchen. I'm using them as practicals. So it was really nice because given that the TOTA LED XL has a dimmer, it allows you to control the light so everything kind of like looks the same. And then last but not least, I also added a background light to increase the separation between the subject and the background and also to make it a little bit more interesting. This is without the TOTA LED XL. As you see, we only have the edge light, which helps a lot. This is without the Blender XL, the edge light that I was using. And as you see, it's pretty much black already. So now this is with the TOTA LED XL, no edge light, which in itself, it looks very nice. But in my opinion, if you have an extra light to create that edge light, as you see now, it really helps separate the subject. And it also looks better. But again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is just the way I would do it. So in order to truly understand the power of this unit, I thought to myself, would I be able to use this as a moonlight? In most productions, this is done by using an HMI light, which is one of those big and heavy lights that require a few people to carry. But knowing that this light had a high output for its size, I was like, let's try it. So I placed the light outside on a C-stand. I removed the diffusers that the light include, and I set it to the max, 100% power, in order to try to achieve something that resembled a moonlight. And if you're designing a lighting setup that's as simplistic yet emotional as this, I think it's a really good option. If you're shooting something for yourself, or if it's a small production, or if it's a small space, more importantly, I think this works. Could it be improved by more things? Definitely. But I really wanted to see what I was able to do with just the TOTA LED XL at 100% and truly test the power of this light. And mind you, this is like 7-8 feet away from where I'm sitting in this shot, so it has a really high output. And in this shot, since it's evoking like a pensive person, a very emotional scene, I think it works perfectly fine for this. So for my third and final setup, I wanted to truly test what this light was capable of. Again, we're speaking versatility here. So I wanted to do something outside. So I placed myself on this porch, and my thought when it came to filming this scene was like, okay, this person, it's headed outside to bask in the sun, probably like around 4 p.m., trying to like, get a little bit of sunlight after sitting in front of the computer for like 5 hours or something. So if you see what it looks like without any lights, yes, it doesn't look bad, but I feel like we're not focusing on the subject. We're mostly focusing on the building in the background. So I wanted to kind of like bring him out. And again, he's basking in the sun, not in the shadows. So because of the position of the sun, we're only getting shadow. So I wanted to have a light that would replicate the sun that was hitting the other building. All I did was I placed the C-stand outside to my left with the TOTA LED XL, and I used the diffusion panels that the light include. The distance between me and the light was probably 3 feet, but the surprising part is that in order for me to match the light levels between the building and me, I only had to put the light to 30%, which is crazy. So imagine if it was at 100%, I would have probably blown up the highlights, especially like on the widest part of the shirt. So that was really impressive. And in my opinion, this looks a lot more fitting, again, specifically when you're reading the description of the scene and what the purpose of the scene is. Because again, a lot of times when you're lighting something, it has to evoke a feeling, or it has to evoke a certain situation or a time of day or whatever the case might be. So I think this was pretty impressive, and I think it looks great. So yeah, everybody, Tiffin's Lowell TOTA LED XL. If you're interested in getting this unit, head over to tiffin.com. And if you think there's any more videos that I should make with this light or with any other fixture, just let me know, and I'll see you guys soon.